Saving money. You know how important it is. Everyone does. But when it comes to putting the time in, like drawing up a budget, life gets in the way. What if we told you there are 15 really easy ways to save money that you can do in the next few minutes without leaving the house? No spreadsheets, just quick, simple actions that amount to big savings over the year. And don't worry, it's not all about giving stuff up. We've got a good mix of tips that ensure you don't sacrifice all of life's luxuries. Hi, I'm PJ from Rift, and in this video, we'll help you understand some of the quickest ways to save money, a few ways you might be owed money and not realise it, and how to capitalise on them by taking swift action. Get ready, because our 15 tips are coming thick and fast. Let's get started. Walk over to your thermostat and turn it down by just 1 degree. If you can, avoid touching it again. Manage that and you've just saved yourself nearly £127 for the year. How many times have you put an item on your shopping list and then realised you already have it? That's partly why the average UK household wastes around £700 worth of food per year. So go save some food from landfill right now. Find the 7 items closest to their sell-by and work them into this week's meal plan. Repeat that process once a week and you'll save nearly £500 a year. What's your quietest day of the week? Circle that date and make it your no-spend day. Pick 3 activities you can walk to, make meals from leftovers, crack out the board games. There's loads you can do that cost nothing. Could you live without premium all-access gym membership? Could you replace spin class with a jog? Could you take a YouTube fitness class? There's loads you can do to keep fit in the great outdoors and your own home. The gym of life is all around you, and membership is free forever. If you can live without a £40 per month gym membership, that's £480 back in your pocket for the year. You don't need 2 streaming services. You definitely don't need 3. So keep your favourite and get rid of the others. Remember, iPlayer, All4 and Freeview are all included in your TV licence fee. YouTube's also free, and if you're really old school, there's always live TV. You've definitely got one ill-considered purchase sitting in the house that still holds some resale value. Like the guitar that gets picked up once every 6 months, or that Roomba that hasn't been charged since last year. Get it on eBay. Get some cash in your pocket and reclaim some living space. Are you in the right council tax band? Martin Lewis estimates more than 400,000 households are in the wrong one. The bands were calculated over 30 years ago, and in some cases, the calculations may have been wrong in the first place. So check your council tax band on a recent bill. It should have a letter next to it like Band B. Letters close to the start of the alphabet are the cheaper bands, so if your home is fairly modest but your council tax band is F or H, something could be wrong. Get on your local council's website and find out how to challenge your band. Or get them on the phone, because that call could be worth thousands. There's another tax code you'll need to check that often gets messed up, and it's on your paycheck. But before we get into that, make sure you hit the subscribe button below. That way, you can stay up to date with the best ways to make your money go further. Because you're always better off with Rift. Now that's done, let's see if you're paying more tax on your salary than you should be. Let's have a look at your last paycheck. What's the tax code? Is it something like 1257W1, 1257M1, or 1257X? If that's a yes, it looks like you're on an emergency tax code. Usually, this is a short-term measure. For example, on your first paycheck from a new job, they're used when your employer, their payroll accountant, or HMRC don't have your up-to-date information. A really common example is when your P45 hasn't been received or processed yet. But if you've been on an emergency code for a while, something may be wrong. It might be that your P45 was never received or processed. If it's something you forgot to do, get that P45 to your employer pronto. If they already have it, it's time to start busting chops. Get on to your employer first. They may allow you to speak directly to their accountants, or they may not. If you have no luck there, contact HMRC directly. Once HMRC has the correct information, any tax you've overpaid will get paid back to you through your salary. Where's your water meter? Do you even have one? Are you sure? Water bills get charged in one of two ways, either through a water meter reading or by averaging the amount of water used in your area. If you don't have a water meter, and not everyone does, you could be paying for some of your neighbour's water. The utility company will take an average for the area, but they may make some assumptions in those averages. Specifically, they may assume a larger house has lots of people living in it. Say you live alone in a 3-bed house. In that case, you may be paying for 3 people's worth of water. So check your bill. If it's got a meter number on it somewhere, you're golden. If not, call your utility provider. Get a meter installed for free and get yourself a fairer deal. Do you spend your own money on work expenses? For example, do you travel between work sites in your own car or on public transport? Have you spent your own money on uniforms or courses? Many people don't realise these expenses are tax exempt. It's also a common misconception that you can only claim these expenses back if you're self-employed. So, if your employer hasn't reimbursed you for these costs, you could be due a tax refund. It takes just a couple of minutes to find out what you could be owed. So visit the link below and find out. Death, taxes, rising energy bills. You can definitely count on the first two, and the third is quickly becoming just as certain. Switching your energy provider is often touted as a smart way to lock in favourable terms. So has combining your gas and electricity into a single bill from the same provider. But that's not always the best course of action. There's the usual hurdles to consider, like exit fees. But market conditions could also mean it's better to stay where you are. Changing energy caps in particular have muddied the water, and many customers have ended up with providers they didn't choose because theirs went out of business. So by all means, fire up the comparison site and see if there's a better deal on the table. If there is, make sure it's a good enough deal to offset any exit costs. And do your research. If there are press stories about your potential new supplier struggling financially, consider staying put. You're probably familiar with the unofficial lazy man tax. That's when you get slapped with less favourable terms than new customers for products like insurance. In many cases, it's been cheaper to shop around for new customer deals than stick with your existing providers, and banks have been no exception. In fact, it's possible to get slapped with a double whammy on your bank accounts. For example, you may have signed up with a bank who offered a high interest rate on savings accounts, but after a year, those terms end, and you roll onto a much lower rate. It might even be 0%. And by leaving your money where it is, you may also miss out on incentives for switching banks, like a cash bonus or attractive introductory rate. However, like with energy bills, times have changed, and switching providers may no longer be the best option. In many cases, it might make more sense to stay where you are. Check your bank's deals first, then see if any others can beat it. Are you paying interest on your credit card bill each month? If the answer is yes, it might be time to look at a balance transfer. If you're paying a high rate, which can be upwards of 20% APR, it could be time to transfer that balance. That's where you move your existing credit card debt to a new card with a lower promotional interest rate. There's usually a fee or percentage involved in balance transfers, but it can be worth paying if there's a long-term saving on interest. If you don't carry a balance on your credit card, you could still consider switching. Many card providers offer 0% interest for 2 years or more, so in theory, you could put your household expenses on your new 0% interest card, put the money you'd normally spend on expenses into a high interest account, and do not touch it. Then, pay your card off right before the end of your promotional term. You'll be left with a tidy amount of interest in your savings account. Be warned though, this takes skill, attention, and discipline. You don't want to accidentally spend the money in your savings account or miss the end of your promotional period. So approach this idea with caution. Finally, could you get a better deal from a rewards card? This is where you get rewards for spending on your card, like cash back on purchases or air miles. Make sure the benefits outweigh any fees based on your spending habits. Getting a cardo delivered to your door? Get on Google Maps. There's probably an Aldi, Lidl or other discount supermarket nearby. Make your next shop a cheap one. It's that dreaded lazy man tax again. Digital subscriptions quite often sneak auto-renew features into their product. This can happen even when you think you're paying a one-time fee. It can actually be a covert annual subscription that auto-renews. Adobe Photoshop? Take a bow. So log into any digital product or service you've signed up for recently and check you don't have auto-renew turned on. It's especially important if there are sneaky annual increases built into your terms and conditions. So go hunt down that auto-renew button and turn it off. Just make a note of the date the service will end. You can always switch it back on if you're enjoying the subscription come renewal time. So there you have it. 15 ways to save money right now without leaving your house. But remember, this is not an exhaustive list. There are plenty of other ways to save money that we haven't covered here. So as always, do your own research. Make sure you consider your full personal and financial circumstances. And if you're in doubt, speak to a financial advisor. In the meantime, make sure you subscribe to the Rift YouTube channel to stay up to date. You can always check out the link below for more helpful tips. Thanks for watching.